Mighty God, mighty God, you are worthy today of all of our praise, all of the glory, O God. And Lord, we want to offer this uh, time together to you, O God, that you would take it and make it useful in the minds and hearts of folks here in this republic who need to know the information that we're talking about. And certainly, Lord, this is a key episode here where we're going to talk about the pivot. And we thank you for it now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Wow. Has the realization hit you yet that even though we have 7 planned actions, once we successfully accomplish that first 3 that I've just outlined for you, we'll really have come light years from the days when DC organized crime was able to transgress our Constitution with impunity. Once we, the people, have reestablished ourselves collectively as the boss via grand jury and militia in the counties of the Republic, we will exercise superintendents with God-given authority. So be encouraged, knowing that success with actions number 1 and 2 and 3 will have placed that high standard of capacity, Constitution enforcement, firmly in our sovereign hands. Having then come even that far in our ultimate quest for total restoration of our republic, we will begin vigilantly arresting the criminal cartel, yes, our criminal servants, and bringing them to account. Now, just imagine what even that degree of change will do for us as we move to action number 4, get ratification, get small districts, and get representation. Almost certainly you're now asking, what's this about? Let's find out.
So, once again, Brad Boardman here, and I've got a very special friend here today with me that I want to introduce to you. She and I, among many others, have been working this mission together, Tactical Civics, for some years. I'll let her tell you a little bit about her journey. But Jennifer Hillegas, welcome. I'm sure happy to have you here this morning. Jennifer comes to us from, I believe, Floyd County, Georgia. And you'll probably notice that in her accent a little bit. But she's a lot of fun, and she is one of our Georgia state coordinators. And Jennifer, why don't you just let people know just a little bit about who you are? And I know you're neck deep in a bunch of career things. So why don't you just share a little bit?
Yeah, so thank you for that great introduction, and thank you for letting me be on your podcast. This is exciting. I joined Tactical Civics in April of 2022, and I was one of the first people to start doing meet and greet seminars. And those started in July of 2022. And I had the CEO, Robert Drake. He lives about 2.5 hours from Floyd County. So he came over and we did a lunch meet and greet. And since that time, I have gone all over the northern part of Georgia from Atlanta up doing seminars and helping to establish chapters in other counties for Tactical Civics.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. It's been great to meet other like-minded people that are sick and tired of seeing government get away with all the crimes that they're committing against us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are fed up. So if you're one of those and you're listening today, listen to the end. So
Amen.
and
Yeah,
get involved. Yeah.
exactly. Well, thanks for that. Yeah. As we were talking a little bit beforehand, this particular episode follows on the episodes where we covered actions number 1, 2, and 3 of our 7 planned actions. And of course, action number 1 is to get big. So we have to have a big membership. Action number 2 is to get that membership educated. And then action number 3 is take that educated membership and get them county by county in front of their county councils to politely demand that these councils recognize constitutional grand jury and well-regulated militia in that county. And so the point that we were making, and I made it in this little video that I just played, that's why I start with the word wow, is kind of imagining what the fact that by the time we get through actions 1, 2, and 3, we will be, we the people, enforcing the Constitution. And so, whereas there's plenty to do after that, I love to make this point that I think should be an encouragement to people, anybody who gets involved with us, that it doesn't necessarily have to be decades away that before we start enforcing the Constitution. So, and I know that is something that is near and dear to your heart, the enforcement of the Constitution.
Yes, absolutely. It'd be the first time in my life it's been enforced.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
feel like every day it's trampled on and it just breaks my heart.
Yeah. And that's essentially what we, the people, have allowed to have happen over about 6 generations. Ever since Lincoln, we have abdicated our responsibility, our duty to enforce the Constitution of the United States and cause our servants, that we elect, instead of still calling them servants, many of us call them our leaders. How does that rub you?
Yeah, I have to correct them and say, we need to address them as they are. They're our servants. So yeah, it's been a concerted manipulation of a civilization, in my opinion. They learned a long time ago. Well, they said a long time ago when America was founded, from the beginning when we said we were founded on Christian Judeo values, then the powers that be said, "Oh, well, we'll destroy that."
Right. Right.
Yep. So it's tragic what's happened and what has taken place over a past 160 years. And my lifetime, I'm 53 years old, and I was never taught. We were taught in school the definitions of a bill and capitalism and a republic and a democracy and all of that, but you're not taught your high civic duty, which through tactical civics, as where the way I envision it, while we're teaching the highest civic duty, which gives us true freedom. We don't have freedom now. It's a facade. We're all enslaved to a debtor nation. And that's all by design to keep you, to control you. And so when you give up that control and you don't comply, then you see things different. You get a taste of what freedom can really be like when you don't comply. So one of the most significant impacts of completing actions 1, 2, and 3 is you'll see people in action actually doing the work that we, the people, did in the beginning when America was formed.
Amen.
And to me, that's when America was the strongest. Some people would argue and say America's strong today. No, it's not. We're manipulated, we're controlled by a system that's the opposite. So when you look at the Constitution and it tells you you're innocent until the jury of your peers proves you guilty, then you understand that that's true. That's a true free, that's a free flow of thought
Sure.
and progress. It's a process, a free process.
Mm-hmm.
But today, that's different. You go to jail, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Yeah.
And if you get a public defender, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
system's stacked against you.
So when we get, so again, kind of just thinking about our actions 1 and 2 we're in right now, getting big and getting educated. And that's part of the reason for this podcast, is to begin to help educate people. Certainly the Tactical Civics Training Center, becoming a member and so far. And we're neck deep in educational stuff. But once we have accomplished that and have stood these 2 institutions, which, by the way, they predate our Constitution by hundreds and hundreds of years, grand jury and militia. We get those stood up. I tell you what a breath of fresh air that I'm just imagining what that's going to be like, where we the people, okay, and you are actually a true member of we the people, if not just because you're an American, not just because you were born in America, but you are a true member of we the people if you are willing to actually get up off that couch and begin helping the rest of us do the chores. So just to drill down real specifically, what are a couple of those chores? Well, hey, we get grand jury recognized in a county, and hey, I can raise my hand and say, I'd be happy to volunteer to be a member of the grand jury pool, okay? Or I'd be happy to be trained for some appropriate part of the well-regulated militia. Those are 2 specific chores that we can be involved in order to enforce the Constitution. So which one do you want to do, Jennifer?
I want to be the one. I want to be a juror.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I want to be a jury foreman.
You know what I would like to be in the end though? I would like to be one of these that teaches the new elected servants what to do that's correct, because they've all been indoctrinated, right?
Yep.
They've all been taught how to go against the Constitution, right?
Yes.
I mean, especially like the district attorney. I mean, there's so many people that I see, they're stuck in this system, and they're good people.
Mm-hmm.
They just were taught the wrong part of it.
Well, I say all the time that, we all, this generation, all of us have essentially been brought up under the same quote unquote educational system, that it's really the same programming system. And so even, by rights, even our criminal servants, those who have been elected to office and are participating in the corruption and criminality, for example, in DC or any of our state palaces, even they were educated improperly. And so, on the one hand, I don't hold that against them, but we've got to bring the truth to them and then see whether they're going to be willing to repent. And
we have to give them mercy, because they were brought up in the backwards system also. And but I would love to be the one that has the handbook and the training to teach them the proper way. And to show them that when we the people have a private presentment, especially the district attorney, that they don't have to lock down the courthouse like Fort Knox. We're not we're not this bad set of people. The bottom line is, we the people are the only human authority that will enforce the Constitution. And the government is not going to investigate the government. And instead of them, when we bring up in the commissioners meetings and board of electors meetings, that,
Mhm.
hey, this is the law and this is the way this procedure is supposed to be done for counting votes, and it's not being done, instead of them looking at us and talking to us like we're crazy.
Mhm.
There's a handbook where I can go to it and I can say, okay, this is the next step.
Yeah.
This is what we do next
Yep.
to fix this problem.
Yep.
And it holds them to a different level of accountability. I don't know about you, Brad, but I am sick and tired of seeing Congress on TV having their little powwows with all these
Mhm.
criminals that have suppressed our freedom of speech, committed crimes against humanity,
Yep.
and they're all sitting there and they all have their little powwow. You'll have one one of the congressmen bring out like a whistleblower, and they'll have all this evidence, and then you'll have the person that's committed the crimes like Fauci and some of the other ones, and
Mhm.
they have all this propaganda that they use and these lies that they use to explain away everything that they've
Yeah.
done that's criminal, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to implement the handbook that tells
Yes.
Congress, here's what you do next.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've
You know,
taught them. Yes.
recently, our the tactical civic spokesman, Jeff Calhoun, did a Sunday evening meeting where he took that apart and put it back together a little bit for people. The difference between authority and power. Okay.
Mhm.
We, the people, have the authority. We always have had the authority. But power is actually different because right now, the criminal servants are wielding the power. They have the power. It's illegitimate, but it's because we've let them. Okay. So one of the things we'll be doing is repossessing the power. We have the authority. We are going to repossess the power, and we will begin uh, bringing law and order, bringing these
And
criminal servants to account.
and that's one of the reasons, that's one of the main reasons I got involved in tactical civics, is because there's no accountability, there's no justice in the way the system is now. It's totally against the people.
Correct.
And so I'm looking forward to that repossession of power. We'll
Yeah.
repo that real quick,
Yeah.
hopefully. And then, take those that are truly good people that were just stuck in a system that is the opposite of what it should be, and
Mhm.
retrain them and
Mhm.
teach them the truth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hopefully they'll absorb it. And I am looking forward to that part. I would love to go around the whole state of Georgia
Yeah.
and teach the jurors what their true power is, and
Exactly.
then also help train the district attorney to stay in their lane and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
know that they don't have to know everything about the people's jury.
Mhm.
They have their place in society,
Right. Right.
for heinous crimes and whatnot.
Mhm.
And then we, the people, can work and have our place in society also. That
It's yeah, go ahead.
that the district attorney doesn't have to bother themselves with. But a lot
Right.
of district attorneys have this attitude that they own the
Yes.
courtroom,
Yes.
and that they own the grand jury, and that
Yeah.
they're an advisory to the grand jury. And that's
Mhm.
true for their presentments, but for a private presentment from we the people, they are not to be involved in that.
Right. Well,
And
that's one of the things that most people today don't realize. I mean, most people are not familiar with grand jury at all. But when a grand jury is impaneled, they are the authority. They have authority over any judge, over any prosecutor, because they are representing we the people. They are part of we the people. Those are the ones that those are the Americans who have said, yes, I am willing to be involved in the chore doing. And so here I am on an impaneled grand jury, and we have the power, we have the authority. And so thank you, Mr. Prosecutor. We'll take it from here,
yeah, and
sort of thing.
if you feel that the prosecutor's getting to be a little too nosy, just go ahead and say, I'm gonna need to swear you in as a witness. And just go ahead and tell them, raise your right hand and swear them in, and then send them out
Yeah.
because they don't belong in there. Same thing with the judge. I
Yeah.
mean, as a juror, you're the judge, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and there's been a play on words since the beginning of time. You know, you think of the word fossil fuel, they want you to believe that gas is this outdated thing that we should stop using. That was done
Mhm.
on purpose.
Yeah.
They want you to believe that constitutional militia is this dirty word
Mhm.
that, well, I can tell you that constitutional militia was just, there was a modern day constitutional militia at the southern border a few months ago. No one died from it,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
there was, you know, they kept peace and they went down there and protested and it was fine. Everything was fine. So,
Mhm.
just don't let the play on words grab your emotions to the point that you're paralyzed and you can't see past that to do
Right.
something good for your neighbor. You know, the Bible
Yeah.
does tell us love your neighbor. Well, if you serve in grand jury and you go through the tactical civics training, you in essence are taking care of your neighbor because you're getting rid of the criminals that are robbing us
Precisely.
out blind.
Precisely. Precisely. Yeah. Yeah. That's, we say all the time that, once we get constitutional militia stood up in a county, it's going to look a lot more like, it's not going to look like what the press, the media, portrays them as a bunch of guys running around out in the woods. No, it's going to look a lot more like neighbors taking care of neighbors, watching out for neighbors. And
That's right. And we have modern day right now, this today, we have constitutional militia in Western North Carolina. The sheriff up there is begging
mhm,
for the citizens that the ones that are still alive after this horrible
storm,
hurricane and
yeah.
all these floods that happened. You know,
Hmm.
the sheriff is overwhelmed with everything that they need to do to keep, you know, order and to keep the recovery process going on, that they're begging constitutional militia to form up there.
Right,
And
right.
to me, it's just music to my ears. I'm
We're
just like,
we're
yes,
coming. We're coming. We're
yes.
we're
They're
we're
they're
moving.
showing what
From,
happened with Helene, with Hurricane Helene, is a true example, and what's going on in Western North Carolina is a true example of why we don't need to expand our government. We need to reel it in and
indeed.
allow the people. Look, we are intelligent human beings,
Yeah, yeah,
and we are capable of doing this work.
yeah, yeah,
We just have to be told, we have to be trained on what
yeah.
it is that is our, you know, what is our responsibility,
Right,
you know?
right.
So,
Well, uh, kind of our goal here, one of my purposes here in this particular episode is almost to just ask people, especially folks who are involved with us here at Tactical Civics and who are actually getting the education that we're offering, almost to you know close your eyes and imagine how this is going to look as soon as we get these two ancient institutions stood up in your county and operational. It's going to be glorious. And not to say that it won't, every single bit of it, Jennifer, is work, right? I mean, I'm not saying that we won't have resistance. I'm not saying that it'll be easy, but it certainly will be what we, the people, are intended to be doing. And so, as always, these episodes go by very quickly. Our time together, the clock is ticking, and so as we begin to conclude here, I'm gonna let you, give us any parting thoughts that you might have, and about this transition that we're looking forward to.
well, it just goes back to, just remember, the reason you're doing this is because there's a total disconnect between the elected servants and the people that they represent. They
Mhm.
do not have your best interest in heart. Um, and if they do, then they'll be quickly indoctrinated to go against it.
Yeah.
Because I go county to county to county all the time, and it's the same common theme.
Yeah.
You've got the same problem. You've got commissioners that are elected to represent the people, and then they all have a county attorney that is not represented by the people that is advising them.
Yeah.
And that needs to stop too.
Yeah.
So just remember that when we get together, when we the people get together and we get organized, all of that's going to stop.
Yeah.
And so it's something that we can look forward to actually have freedom, true freedom under a constitutional republic.
Yeah.
So I look forward to working with everyone that's in membership now and all the new people that come on board.
Yeah.
And let's
Amen.
help them all discover their true highest civic duty and
Yeah.
our full potential as a country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jennifer Hilligus, my friend from Georgia, thank you so much for spending a little time here. And I hope you have a fantastic day down there, and we'll be concluded here for now.
Thank you. And I pray you have a blessed day too.
All right. Lord
Thank
bless
you
you.
for all you're doing.
Thank you. Well, so it's just been a joy to have Jennifer here today, and she's a very busy lady, and so we were fortunate to have her be able to squeeze us in here today. But we'll just be concluded here today, reminding people that we are undergoing in Tactical Civics actions number 1 and 2, get big and get ourselves educated, and we are aiming very soon for action number 3, which is to stand up our 2 enforcement tools in each county of the Republic. So if you've been listening to this today, we certainly thank you for it, and thank you for your time and your attention, and may the Lord bless you.